Good morning, everyone. It's Suzanne Taylor here for Coffee Chat Live. And we're here with the amazing Nora Richardson, who I connected with in a giveaway online, someone else's summit, right?
That's
And
right.
here we are having our morning coffee together. Cheers.
Cheers.
Clink.
Clink. That's right.
And from the very, I'm getting goosebumps right now because you know how when you meet someone and you love their energy and you love what they do, and more than that, when you connect with them, you know that they're authentic, real, and just a joy to work with. So, with that, I am going to let Nora introduce herself, her business, what she does, and a secret that she wants to let us in on. How's that?
Oh, okay. Well,
All right.
thank you so much. Even live up to that wonderful intro. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
But I'm, like you said, I'm Nora Richardson, and my company is Spot On Branding, hence the spots. And basically, I really help people really understand what they're doing, how they're doing it, and why they're doing it in their branding in their companies. Because the problem I have seen through my 20 years of being in business is that most people don't know who their target audience is at all. They have no clue. It's like they've thrown a dart at a dartboard and said, okay, who do I go to? What am I doing? Where am I chasing my clients? And it's very interesting, but a study was done last year, 2019, that says 42% of businesses close because they can't relate the problem that they solve to an audience that will buy.
Wow.
42%.
Wow.
And so
that is just I'm astonished, but yet again, I'm not surprised.
Right.
Because this is a step that I know when I was first starting 12 years ago, I didn't think it was important. I was just going to throw out the biggest fishing net I could find, and anybody who landed in the net, I would try to serve.
And you're exactly what most people think. And they think that branding is just a logo, a color, and just those visual things, those visual indicators. And that is a brand identity. But that's not branding. That is not the foundational branding that actually accelerates and makes your marketing effective. And so, like you said, there I go. I talk with my hand.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I got to get the wireless headphones attached to my computer because I'm constantly moving around talking with my hands.
Talk with my hands. That's my secret. Not a very big secret. I talk with my hands.
I have to sit on mine if we're going to be like super professional here. I sit on my hands so that I don't do that.
Well, I'm part Italian, so I gotta talk with my hands. I can't talk if I don't talk with my hands.
Gotcha.
So anyway, wow. So foundational branding is really the key thing for your marketing to work. And so many people just do brand identity and go straight to marketing.
Yes.
And then wonder why they don't have the clarity, why they're not connecting, why they feel salesy. All of these things actually can be rectified when you brand with the foundational pieces.
Yeah. Well, I love the word foundational pieces because in the last year, I've kind of pivoted my business to focus more on those foundational pieces for the people who can't afford to work with me one-on-one. Those foundational pieces are what will enable you to be able to afford to work with me one-on-one.
Yes.
Right. So I saw this immense need. And this was listening to my clients listening to my tribe, the people that follow me over the years, listening to them and saying, okay, well, they're not doing those foundational pieces. So if I put life foundations together and business foundations together, and each one of those foundations takes a week to do, if you actually dive into it, and you can do it on your own, then you're ready to have a business that can afford my $97 a month mastermind. And that mastermind gets you to the next level, and then the next level, and the next level. And that felt, well, one, it felt authentic to me, because there's nothing worse than knowing you can help someone and having them attracted to you. I want to work with you. And then they hear how much it is, because I know what I'm worth, right?
Right.
I know after all these years what I'm worth, and have them feel like, oh, I can't do it.
Right.
And I don't want to do it at that high level if somebody's making nothing in their business because they haven't done the foundation. So maybe that's why I love you so much. And I love your giraffe. And that just attracted me immediately to you, because I have this weird thing for giraffes. And so now publicly, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh, okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. I'm going to ask you if you, I'm doing a mastermind for the next year, and it will be starting in June or July.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to be one of my experts.
Oh, I would love to.
And, and
Absolutely.
you don't even know what's
Positively.
involved. And she
No.
wants, oh my God, I love it.
You know
I
why?
love it.
Because you and I, like you said in the beginning, we connected. I mean, I absolutely love what you're about. I love what you're talking to your clients about. I love all the different elements of you,
Thank
and
you.
how you've grown
Thank you.
to who you are now. So absolutely.
Woo!
I'm honored.
Well,
Thank
now
you.
I'll tell you what's involved.
Okay.
Basically, you're going to give a free 1-hour masterclass on what you do.
Okay.
You're going to give them your freebie,
Okay.
and then they're on your list.
Yes.
And you can do whatever you want after that.
Perfect.
Plus, you get to participate in the mastermind for free.
Perfect. I love it. Love
I love
everything.
it too.
I love, it's one of those things. It's like I have always used the word yes,
Mm-hmm.
and it opens up doors to places
Doesn't
I
it?
never thought would ever open.
I know.
So yes, I'm a yes person. So I'm
Awesome.
so excited.
All right. Well, I will email you the page that describes the whole mastermind.
All
You'll
right.
get to see the 4 experts that are lined up so far. I have an amazing stage coach who, he is just, when I tell you, this man is amazing. And I think he's my brother from another mother. We kind of look alike, and same personality. So you will love him. I have a positivity expert who I do dental courses with, Michael Gross. I have a happy living coach who does amazing things in the health and wellness community. I have a financial coach. And then I have a coach who coaches coaches, who is just all about presence and authentic connection. And now you.
Wow, what a lineup.
Oh
That's
my God,
impressive.
it's so exciting. And the
Yes.
mastermind meets twice a month, and literally on a Monday morning and a Thursday night. And then there's Q&A every week. And there used to be a Facebook group for the mastermind, but I'm creating a whole membership area off of Facebook for the mastermind. So
Nice.
that's super exciting.
That
So
is.
yeah, you'll be able to supply a course there if you want, and charge
Okay.
for it, which is super exciting for all my experts. So
Fabulous.
yeah,
That's very cool. Thank
yeah.
you.
So let's dive into branding, taking it to that next level. It's not just your signature, it's not just your colors, it's not just your logo,
Right.
but it's actually the way you talk, the way you attract people. And what is your biggest tips that you would give my audience who's listening in right now? If right now they have a logo, they have a website, but they're not really attracting the number of clients that they want, or the ones that are attracted to them kind of aren't in their ideal space. What would you say?
So number one is in my whole world, a brand identity is step 6 in the foundational pieces, which
Mm.
is the last step until you go to marketing.
Wow.
So yeah, the 6th step.
Wow. So that is 5 steps that
Yes.
people are skipping.
Yes.
Are you going to tell us those steps today?
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
I will. I'll tell
All
you.
right, I got my pen.
So number one step is your values. You have to know who you are,
Oh, love, love.
what you're doing, why you're doing
Hmm.
it, what your purpose is. You know, you've got to really kind of figure out you, right? What are you doing? Why are you doing it? So that's number one. Number two is you've got to get your story right. You've got to really kind of assess the things in your life that are relatable and pertinent to somebody who you want to attract. What are the things usually it's and here's the secret tip here. Usually the things that you need to be talking about are the things that you've already solved for yourself that other
Yeah.
people need
Yes.
to
Yes.
solve for
Yes.
themselves. That's the trick.
Yes.
That's I've un the you know I think there should be like music like ah
Woo!
you know
Yeah, you don't want me to sing, but you
you know
know, yeah.
but that's really the trick of everything. You know, our purpose, our love, our interests, our experiences are all surrounded about the things that the problems that we've solved for ourselves and how we solve them.
Hmm.
And that is pretty much what we want to do for other people is help them, give them the easy button. Hey, look, I
Oh,
did all of this to get here, but if you just did this, then you could be here with me and I'll be
yes.
gone a little bit further than
I,
you.
I, I'm literally wagging my tail right now. Like, I am so excited to hear that,
Yes.
because that is the thing that so many people miss. Because one, that requires vulnerability. You
Yes.
have to be willing, and I'm telling one of my stories soon on a summit, and it's a story that I've never told anyone before. I mean, my husband kind of knows. He doesn't know how bad it was.
Right.
um my therapist that I used to go to back then, she knew, but she didn't really know how bad it was, you know.
Right.
And being open about that time in my life, um, and sharing it with a whole community of people, woo, let me tell you, I'm working on presenting the story from a strong and funny angle, but there's nothing funny about the story.
Right.
And I have to really dig deep to share this part of myself,
Mhm.
that dark place I was in at that age.
Mhm.
But if I hadn't gone through that, come out of it, I wouldn't be where I am today, married to who I'm married to, with an amazing son, an amazing business, right? So it does have a positive ending to it.
Right.
But when you're afraid to be vulnerable, and I'm pretty much an open book, and if this story scares me a little bit, like,
Right. Yeah.
it's going to be a little fiery. But what would you say to the person who's afraid to do that?
So basically, the first thing that you need to do is number one, you need to tell somebody who understands who you're actually trying to attract or who you think you're trying to attract,
Hmm.
and trust that person to actually tell that story. So there's certain
Mm,
things that you can do to frame that story so that it is relatable. And there are certain things that if you don't feel comfortable with sharing the whole big enchilada, or you
yeah.
think it's a downer, for your audience, then basically there's a way to kind of get the essence of everything, still be true to you, but not have to, and still connect to your audience.
Yeah.
Without having to really go into a dark interior place,
I
right?
like that.
Right. So you have to,
I like
number
that.
one, trust the person that you're telling, trust the person that they're going to treat the knowledge and the information and look at it from a perspective that really kind of is good to you and is heartfelt for you and easy for you to tell. In the
Yeah.
beginning, it's always harder because there's emotions, because you're reliving. Women relive their stories when they're talking, they relive it.
Yeah.
And so that's the key to actually being a good person to share, is actually reliving the experience, because you're bringing the audience along. But there are
Wow.
certain things that will actually get the audience not that will stop the audience from moving in the direction you want, and you will leave them in a puddle, in a ditch, so to speak, and you can't get them out to get them to the good place, or to whatever the direction you're trying to move them to. So there are pitfalls in telling your story, your complete story,
Yeah.
but framing it in a way that you're comfortable, that delivers a linear path from start to where you want the audience to end up, is very delicate, if
And
that makes
almost
sense.
artistic in a
Yes,
way, right?
absolutely artistic.
So, is that
That's
something you would book a session with me
yes.
to do?
I
And
would love
I
that.
would tell you the story,
Hmm.
and you would help me craft it so that it felt like me, felt like
Yes.
my vibe. I don't cry, I don't get upset, I make a joke, everybody laughs. Like, that's how I tell stories.
And that's actually the best way for most audiences to hear
Yeah.
stories,
Yeah.
is, especially if you're doing multi sex, so male and female.
Mhm.
Females want a little bit more of the goody, the details, the sorrow, the
Mhm.
ups, the downs, the everything. Men kind of just want, like, you to, all right, I don't want to stay too much into this. I don't want to stay too much
Yeah.
into this. They want a little more factual. So depending on who your audience is, we would craft it so that it would flow for that person. Now, I'm not saying all men are that way or all women are that way. I'm saying in generals, when we're working in demographics,
Mhm.
it's generalizations.
Yeah.
I don't. Another thing that I personally don't do is like to stay in demographics. I like psychographics, and so
I love that too.
yeah,
Yeah.
sociographics. I
Yeah.
mean, that's really where branding excels,
Mhm.
when you can actually really get involved in the sociographics of your audience.
I love that. I love that. And I love that because I tend to identify more with that masculine side of myself, that no BS, like, oh, just do it. Don't whine about it. Don't complain about it. Just do it. Right.
Right?
And my clients appreciate that about me, but there's certain clients who are scared of that.
Right.
Right. So I understand that certain people I talk to, if I say too much, then they're like, ooh, wow, that was a lot.
Right.
Or if I give too much information in a first session or a consultation about where I think their business could go, they haven't even dreamt that far themselves yet.
Oh, don't I know that?
Oh,
Don't I know that?
oh,
Oh,
oh.
oh yeah,
And
I get it.
I actually got from a person who would be a dream client for me. I love her. I love what she does. I love everything about her business. And I would be so excited to get my and she's going to know exactly who she is if she watches this, and I know she'll watch it. I would love to get my hands on her and her business. But I know before I did this challenge this week, she texted me and she's like, I want to do it, but I'm a little scared. And I said, what are you scared of? She said, you. And I was like, oh my God, don't be scared of me. Don't be scared of me. And so for me, working on those stories, toning them down a little bit,
Mhm.
right? It doesn't have to be all or nothing.
Right. It's what your comfort level is at the time that you tell it.
I
I
love
have
that.
I have totally so the thing is that we're constantly evolving. So
Mm-hmm.
what you tell today of that story and what you'll tell tomorrow of that story might be two totally different things because of your comfort level
Mm.
of sharing and getting the responses of, oh, what, tell me more about this.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't discuss this, so tell me more about this. And
Yeah.
so then you can find out what things you need to add in, what things you that don't actually relate to pull out. And so then you're constantly kind of making it you, as well as giving exactly what your audience needs, the right audience for you.
Love it.
So you're like saying, well, some people can't handle me. Some people are afraid of me. Well, are they really your audience? I mean, you should be you. You shouldn't be tailoring yourself to them. You should
Mm-hmm.
be being the authentic you, and then let those people just say, let me just drink you up.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
All right. So now
So
step 3.
step 3.
Yeah.
Step 3 is positioning.
Okay.
And so positioning is all to do about the audience. So the first 2 steps are all about you, right? But now we're actually connecting those 2 things to an audience that's going to relate to you, that's going to understand you, get you. But it starts with that, what you stand for, what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish in the bigger game, and what your experiences back you up in your education, knowledge, and credibility, right? So those are the first 2 things. Now we're connecting that to an audience. Who the heck needs you?
Yeah.
Who's going to value you? That's it. That's positioning. Positioning is the one thing that most people just don't understand or do. The
Well,
first time.
I think a lot of people try to position, and I know exactly what my mistakes were with authority positioning in the beginning. I would overtell people what I knew how to do. I would oversolve problems, even when somebody didn't ask me to solve their problem, or I wouldn't listen long enough to find out the true problem and then ask permission to say, would you like a suggestion on that? I experienced that about 10 years ago.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Asking those clarifying questions and then
Hmm.
permission is definitely key in a coach's business, as well as even in mine. Because
Yeah.
like you, I'm like, oh, I want to solve all your problems and I
Hmm.
can do it right now.
I get
But
so excited.
I know, right? I can see the whole thing for your whole business for the next 10 years.
Hmm.
But like you said earlier, I've had to kind of assess where my client is, because they're only ready to grow this much. I'm seeing them
Right.
this much, right?
Yeah.
I can only get them in baby steps.
Hmm.
So, but the positioning thing is, you can't, you can't assess yourself and your true values that somebody else is going to be seeing, right? So
Hmm.
let me put it in a better way. Why do women actually ask the person next to them to say, do I look good in this outfit?
Because they want a
Because,
compliment.
well, no, it's that they see themselves differently. They think they look great. But in actuality, certain parts of their body may not be accentuated accurately. And you need a good friend
Mm.
to actually tell you, oh, sweetheart, you can't go out looking like that. Right? Because your backside just isn't right. Well, put clothes on that accentuate certain areas that are good and kind of mask the
Mhm.
areas that are problematic. And lo and behold, now you have something that you're like, I feel it. I feel good.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing here, is that's exactly what we're doing in the first two steps. We're finding all of those places that we need to really accentuate you. And
Mhm.
now we're actually looking from the audience perspective and saying, your rear end looks fabulous, right?
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
No,
you're
just
welcome.
kidding.
But your
How'd you know that was my spot?
oh, isn't it every lady's spot?
No, no, that's my good spot. That's my good spot.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I got a pretty good one myself.
Yes. Yeah. Somebody asked me the other day, um, what was my secret to looking younger? And I said, squats. And she said, what do you mean? I said, well, if your ass looks 30, nobody cares about what your face looks like. And she was like, oh my God,
That
that's,
is hilarious.
and she was younger too.
Right.
She was like 27, maybe 30. And she was like, what's your secret? Oh my God, I thought you were only in your early 40s. And I was like, squats every day while I blow dry my hair. She was
That
like,
is fabulous.
what? Yeah.
And now
So,
I gotta do that.
yeah,
Check. Check.
check it off. Check it off. Because if the butt looks younger, everything else does too.
That's fabulous. I love it. I
Yeah.
totally love it.
Yeah. Well, now my secret's out. We're going to have this video out on Facebook. Everybody's going to know my secret.
Well, everybody's just going to be highly attuned to your rump area. That's
Oh,
all.
that already happened. So.
Fabulous. All
All
right.
right. I love this.
So the next one is differentiation. Now,
Oh, okay.
so that's having to do with your people call it a competition or
Mm-hmm.
competitors, right? I don't call it that. I call them colleagues. And the
Yeah.
reason being is because colleagues you can partner up with. You
Mm-hmm.
can see their strengths, they can see your strengths. You can fill their weaknesses, they can fill your weaknesses. And so it's not a competition.
Yeah.
It's actually a partnership. You can be with the people who are doing similar things, and then you grow your audience, right?
Yeah.
So, so most people call it competitors, but that pits people together. It pits people against each other, and I'm just not. I think there's enough wonderful ways of doing things that are the perfect way for you, and it's
Yeah.
not going to be that person. That person is
Yeah.
not going to steal your clientele. But
Yeah.
you got to know who's playing in your sandbox.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we've done the first three. Now we're looking outside of our bubble to seeing who's doing what and why. We're not staying there for a long periods of time. We're
Mm-hmm.
not like saying, oh my gosh, they're doing this and I should be doing this. No, it's just to kind of see what they kind of look like, what they're talking about, what problems they're solving. What exactly, who are they talking to? Why are they talking to that person? Are those clientels actually, your people? And if they are, what is he saying to attract them? If they are not, what are they saying to attract them so that you don't attract them? So
Yeah.
you're trying to just do like this cool kind of recognizance,
Yeah. I love that.
right?
I love that because I always recommend that to my business coaching clients to say who is the top of the top in your
Mm-hmm.
industry. So if I'm working with a health coach or a nutrition expert, who is the top of the top? Pick somebody who is working with the Mayo Clinic or has written books or speaks nationally and gets paid $20,000 for a keynote speech on well-being, nutrition, the science of nutrition. Pick them, and then pick somebody right below that, like who is a nationally recognized health and wellness expert. I mean, Marie Forleo, who's a business coach, right, has B school. She started out as a life coach.
Right.
So I looked at her old stuff, her old website, and it's still there. It's a horrible website, but it showed me when I was coaching fitness and nutrition how to talk and attract people, because it was from that attracting of people that she became a nationally recognized, persona. I mean, plus
Absolutely.
good video, good PR, all of that comes into play. But research and knowing who are the top people in your industry, and for you, who who is the branding person that Coke and Nike and, top companies go to?
Right. So I have a couple of people who I absolutely love and follow. And,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of quotes out there by certain people that I'm like totally in. And I'm going to tell you that I can't think of one of their names at this moment in time for some awful
Yeah, it
reason.
doesn't
And I
matter.
do apologize.
It doesn't
But,
matter. I
but
mean, just doing that research
absolutely.
builds your confidence, because
Well, and I'll tell you one thing that I would add to what you're saying, because I
mhm,
totally agree exactly what you're saying, except for look at people who you want to, that they are where you want to be.
yes,
So is different than just the top person in the industry, because the
true.
top person in the industry could be absolutely the worst thing ever to actually look at. I mean, to actually emulate or try to kind of, get to where they are. Because you look at them and you're like, I don't want that. That you want to pick somebody, you want to look at that person and say, okay, here are all the things I don't want, and here are all the things I don't want to
Mhm.
do or be or make those kinds of mistakes. But here is who I do want. And that's where you need to actually spend a lot of your attention is
Yeah.
is what that is. I love that you're saying, the top person and then a secondary. I also do like well, since 2008, I've been global. I've been working with people all over the
Mhm.
world. But um, so I also add
Yes. Yes.
local, national, and international,
Yes. Love it.
levels, so that I'm understanding what the world is doing,
Mhm.
because I want to work with people who are
Yes.
right, no matter what country they're coming from, right?
I love that.
And the internet really kind of opened that all up right around 2008. And so it's really been fantastic for me and my business, because
Mhm.
I've been actually able to find the right people to work with for me.
Yeah.
And I love to travel, so I get to actually live vicariously through these people, or travel and meet these people in person.
Yeah.
So
And so what advice would you give? So I give people that homework, to find the top person, in your field, and then find somebody who is, just below that, maybe magazine appearances, TV appearances, a great popular blog that gets traffic, and then find somebody in your local area who does what you do and has maybe been doing it for 10 or 15 years, and kind of compile your research. How are they talking? What's different about them? How much traffic does their website get? Where does their traffic come from? And that was so helpful to me, because I had my idols, right? I had my people locally that I thought were doing great in their business,
right.
and turns out they weren't. And I was like, oh, well, okay. So what do I do? How do I find that group of people that, and exactly the same thing happened. 2008 happened, 2009. My son was born. I started staying home and working on my business full time. And I started developing this community with other coaches who were doing what I was doing, but weren't necessarily here in Marlton, New Jersey, or in Philadelphia. one's in New York, one's in LA, one's in Colorado, one's in New Zealand, one's in Australia, one's in South Africa. Amazing.
It's so funny, but it seems like we've paralleled in a lot of areas, because
Yeah.
the same thing happened to me in 2008. I got my tribe of
Mhm.
people who were doing similar things that I was, all over the nation and even outside of the US. So it's so funny that you say that, and how going to conferences, meeting with people that
Mhm.
are in your industry, because basically we had in 2008 in Chicago, there was a freelancers um, uh, conference. It was the first of its kind.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I need to be there. And
Awesome.
that's it, and how the law, when you make a decision and you don't know exactly how it's all going to pan out, but you've made the decision it's going to happen.
Mhm.
And then, everything lines up. Well, that's
Mhm.
exactly what happened. And so
Yeah.
lo and behold, I learned a lot more about business, because I didn't know anything about business. I had no clue. I was an artist. And
Wow.
so, so I knew nothing about business. I'd been working for 8 years uh, and doing great work, doing fabulous things, but wasn't making the money that I thought I deserved.
Yeah.
So hard-headed, 8 years,
Yeah.
hard-headed. And,
Yep.
and then after I implemented and got that support system in place, in 3 months, I doubled my income in a down economy. Remember, 2008,
Yeah.
in a down economy.
Yep.
And then every year for the next 5 years, I doubled my income.
Mhm.
And so that's the key thing right there. You have to
Yeah.
have support. You got to feel like you're not alone.
Yes.
Um, and you've got to learn basic things.
Mhm.
So I was a fantastic technician, but I'd created a great, very expensive hobby.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Mine was an
Yeah.
expensive hobby.
I know, it's costing me money every month to continue this nonsense.
Right?
And I remember when I invested big in myself
Mm-hmm.
the last time. So I was like, all right, one more time. And that coach, it was a coaching program led by a Tony Robbins coach
Mm-hmm.
who I had met personally. And he asked me three simple questions.
Oh, what
He said,
questions?
oh my God, it was
What are the
like,
three questions?
well, when you leave Suzanne speechless, you know you're in trouble. Like, you know that you're dropping some truth bombs when you leave me speechless. And he said, oh, well, how's that working for you? "Hmm, it's not. Um, what would you like to be different?" And I said, I want a coaching practice like you have. So when are you going to start doing that? And I literally was sitting on a bus with this man on the way to a Spartan race. And I looked out the window and I literally did not say another word the whole way home from the Spartan race. One, I'm muddy and gross and tired. But two, after exercising to the point where you are, you know, mentally drained, right? It took everything out of my body and my mind to complete that race. I was like, oh my God, when am I going to do it? Right now. I'm going to do it right now.
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 Now. Yes.
And his coaching practice, without a website, without social media, he's been in business for 20 years. And his whole entire business comes from talking to people and people referring to him. That's it.
That's it.
And he said, you don't need anything more than that when you know what you're doing. And I
That's
talk on
truth.
and it just, I'm like, I do know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And within a couple weeks of that conversation, I had this misbelief that I wasn't professional enough. And a friend
Mm.
challenged the word professional.
Mm.
She looked at me and she said, Suzanne, what's the opposite of professional? And I was like, oh my God, amateur. And she said, are you an amateur? I was like, no effing way. And that, I was like, all of a sudden I was standing taller. And I'm like, oh my God, I can totally do this.
Right.
And what was that moment for you when you realized that, because I saw it in you, and I'll tell you, I remember I don't opt in to many people's stuff. I don't give my name and email address and get people's freebies. I stopped that a long time ago. But I saw a picture of your cover with the dress on it, and I was like, I need to know what she's saying. I need to know her. Immediately, I knew. And I want to ask, what moment did you say, enough of playing small, enough of, doing what I used to do, and I'm going to do this now? What gave you the confidence to do that?
Well, my husband has been extremely supportive of me.
Oh.
Absolutely, positively amazing. But it was like 8 years in, and he was covering me. And not that he ever said one word,
Mm-hmm.
but for me, it was like, I need a shit or get off the pot.
Yeah.
Like, is this going to happen for me or is this
Mm-hmm.
not? Is this going to actually do this? I'm good at what I do. My clients are like seeing such fantastic results,
Mm-hmm.
but why am I not doing better? I know that I could make plenty of money at
Mm-hmm.
this. I am
Mm-hmm.
that good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just said, he's gonna, his patience, his support, his something is going to be withdrawn at some point. He's going
Mm-hmm.
to look at me and say, you know,
Yep.
you're going to need a full-time job. It's time. You know, you can't do it in 8 years. I
Yeah.
might give you 2 more, kind of thing. That's
Yeah.
what I was dreading. Was dreading that conversation that he would just look at me and say,
That's enough.
yeah, we gotta move along.
Yeah.
This is not working. And so that was the scare.
Mm-hmm.
That was the fear. He knew I was good. That's the reason why later on he's like, I'd never even thought of that. I know you're good. You just needed
Wow.
to learn something, and I didn't know what to tell you to learn. So I just figured you'd figure it out. And you did. Isn't he just a fabulous guy?
I love it.
I
I
know,
love
right?
it.
So basically I was like, I need to go to that conference. I don't know something, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, right? You don't. So, I mean, when I was in that place, I thought, oh, well, I just need another certification. I just
Right.
need to learn something else. I just need, another coaching certification. And that thing will make it.
Yes.
No,
The first thing we
no.
always do is we think we need more education.
Yeah.
And the thing is that we don't necessarily need more education. We need somebody to tell us, look at us and say, you need this. And then
Yeah.
we're like, okay, I'll do that. So
Yeah.
that's exactly what this conference did.
That's so awesome.
It had a bunch of people just like me, doe-eyed and bushy-tailed, and we're all like going, oh, you mean that's how you do business? I've been doing it wrong all this time? Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, let me just implement a couple of things in the next 3 months,
Mm-hmm.
and bam, that's all it is. You know what I did? I repositioned myself.
Yeah.
And that's how I know that my step 3 is the key to
Yeah.
actual results for your marketing to work.
It
It's
has
not,
been for me. Like, and I
it's
haven't even worked
repositioning,
with you. It
right?
was pivoting and actually standing in that authority position without being bossy, without being pushy, without like, I'm here. I'm here.
Right.
I've been there. I've been exactly where you are. And if you want help to go from here to here, and you don't want to do it in 25, 35 years like it took me.
And labels are important.
Yes.
Because you just said unprofessional.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't think you were a professional, but you knew you were an amateur. And so
Yeah.
once you changed your mindset for that, that actually shifted you and moved you through whatever lack or belief that you had inside.
Yeah.
Mine was, I was a freelancer. That's what I was calling myself.
Mm-hmm.
When I changed it to a woman business owner of a design firm, bam, change.
Psh.
Just change.
Like, psh.
Yeah.
It's the same exact thing.
I was doing the exact same thing.
I know.
But
Yeah.
the
The
label
label.
I called myself was
Yes.
totally different.
Yes.
It was just the craziest thing. It was just like,
Yeah.
bam. And then
Amazing.
making money. It was just the craziest thing, like not making money or not making good money
Mm-hmm.
to making good money.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't
Well,
that fabulous?
it just so resonates with me, because nouns are so important. The nouns we use to describe ourselves publicly or personally, even in our own head, right? So if I was using not professional, I wouldn't say unprofessional,
Right.
but I would say not, oh, you're not professional enough. You want to show up in a sundress and flip flops. And um, I remember first meeting with a client who I didn't know was going to be a client. And we were just meeting for coffee. And I had jeans on, flip flops, and a short sleeve t-shirt that said Indian motorcycles on it. It's my favorite. It's my favorite t-shirt.
Well, I love Indian motorcycles.
Well,
So.
so do I, right? And so I meet this client, potential client for coffee, but I didn't know that, right? And he was somebody who I've been connected with for years from my previous career. We sat and had coffee, and he didn't once question what I was wearing because what he was interested in was what was in here. And I
Yeah,
was like,
these two areas right there.
oh, I
Yeah.
like I like this. So I tried it again, and he became a client. Tried it again. What if I show up for this meeting dressed like Suzanne, not dressed like a professional? Because that's uncomfortable. I hate high heels. I hate pantyhose. I don't like, I threw them all away. They're done. I'm never doing it again. And I met with this person wearing shorts, a nice t-shirt, black flip-flops, black t-shirt, cargo shorts, cute purse. Like I looked cute. I looked clean, but I didn't look like, a banker, but that's not me anyway. So stepping into that authentic version of me was part of my brand. That's when I changed the photos on my website to be more me, not
Right.
what somebody said I should look like, be like, talk like, whatever.
It's so important, absolutely positively
Yes.
important. And the reason it's even more important on an energetic level,
Mm-hmm.
because I know you're into that kind of stuff,
Yep.
is that you were already kind of not giving your all when you were uncomfortable in the clothes that you were wearing. So you were
Yes.
already kind of energetically not clicking because you weren't happy with you.
Yeah.
So you can't connect with somebody else if you're in your head like, oh man, I'm itchy. Oh, this is uncomfortable. Oh, I hate these shoes. My
Nope.
feet
You
hurt.
can't
And
listen
so
when you're like
you
that.
can't listen, you can't be fully present,
Yeah.
and you're giving off a weird vibe that they're picking up, even if they're not woo-woo. They're picking up that and they're like, I don't know, there's something wrong with her. I don't know,
Yeah.
she's not the right person for me. And so that's exactly the thing. That's the reason why it's so much important to be
Oh,
very
I love it.
comfortable.
I love it.
Absolutely,
I
because
love
then
it.
you're true. Because when you were comfortable and you met that guy saw you. He
Yes.
felt you. He felt that you were different. He felt that you had something to say and you were thinking, and that's the person that he
Yeah.
wanted to be with.
Yeah.
It didn't matter about the clothes. And that goes with, it doesn't matter. It matters, but it doesn't matter in the beginning when you don't have the foundational branding pieces. It doesn't matter about the skins you put on your business,
Yeah.
logos, colors, and things. Yes, they're important. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
they're identifiers. Yes, you want to be easily recognized and differentiate yourself in a look and a feel and personify. But if you don't know who you are and what you're trying to personify, how can you put a face? How can you clothe it? How can you do all these things if you have more questions? You're just
Yeah.
putting lipstick on a pig, man.
Oh, girl. We're gonna wrap up on that truth bomb right there. I love it. Because that is exactly such a truth, and you can be a professional and still be you. You
Actually, it's the only way to be a professional
I
is
love
to
it.
be you.
Love it. Love it. Well, let's wrap up. We could go on
I know we
for
could.
forever. And we already went longer than my normal coffee chat. So this is such juicy, good information. Please thank you for doing this, and thank you for being here and being your shining, radiant exemplar self. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Well,
And
sure.
yeah,
Well, thank you so much for
you're
this
welcome.
opportunity. I had a blast. This was like so much fun. This is like just having a real coffee talk
Yeah,
chat with my best friend.
awesome.
It's awesome. So you can find me spot on branding, spot-onbranding.com is my website. Nora Day Richardson is how you connect with me on Facebook. And please just send me a message,
Yeah.
uh, if you want to talk, want to chat. I love to hear stories. I love to know about businesses. I love to know about goals. It's just one of the things I love to do. I love to hear that. So yeah, just go ahead, reach out to me. I love people. I love
Awesome.
dreams. So
Yay.
all
All
right,
right. Well, thanks again, honey. Appreciate it.
bye.